up, guys? It's Biz Coach C. It's time for our ninth Road to 100K session. So these trainings are all about how to help you expedite your pathway into becoming a six-figure business owner, right? So the thing about earning six figures is way more than just the money. And for those of you who have been following me up to this point, you probably understand exactly what I'm talking about. Six figures is not just about the money. First is about the mindset. Second, it's about the strategy. Third, it's about winning, and then it becomes financial. And then fourth, it becomes about sustainability and being able to maintain that amount of profitability in a small business. So it can be consistent dollars that are coming in all the time that are on repeat. So thank you for joining me, because I appreciate you guys tapping into this. If this is specifically for the Six Secrets group, Six Secrets to Six Figures, which is a group specifically for minority women that I have on Facebook. We are gaining earners. We're gaining members every day, which I'm super, super happy to have all of you in the group. But the point of that group is to help you gain your financial independence. Even if you are not a minority woman, if you're not a Black or brown woman, it's okay, because you can use the same principles that are here. So just know, if you hear me saying sis, or if I'm saying things that are specifically for another demographic, this is why. All right. So it caters to that group, but the information is good for everybody. You can take it and make it your own. And I try to keep it that way too. All right. So Road to 100K has been all of 2025. All of the recorded sessions in the training zone, how to follow the pathway and the financial roadmap on how to get there, are housed on my YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed to Biz Coach C's YouTube page, then you need to get over there and you need to subscribe. I'm going to drop that link in the chat before we go today. But today's session is about scaling through partnerships. So how can you network? How can you connect to increase your net worth, right? How do we make all of that happen? And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Let me go ahead and share the screen with you. Just know that these are interactive sessions, by the way. So I am not going to get upset if you are in the comments or in the chat dropping questions, concerns, whatever, what have you. I'm happy. More than happy to answer any of those live. So we're live on the Facebook channel, and then we're also live on the YouTube page. So anybody who has any questions, concerns, if you're watching from anywhere, I will probably see your comments. If I don't see it, I'll be sure to go back after I watch and answer all of those comments. So whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook, I'm happy to chat with you about it. But let's get into this today, into this scaling through partnerships and what that actually looks like and why it's important. So let me make this bigger so you guys can see. All right. And then let me know how you're feeling about this information too, all through it. So give me emojis, give me hearts, give me likes, give me hates. I don't, whatever it is that you feel like you need to share with me, please feel free to share it in the chat. I'm not going to take it personally. All right. This is all about growth. Here's the thing. Let's get started. This is going to be about how you can take the conversations that you're starting today and actually let them lead you into tomorrow's six-figure opportunities and why that's so important. And we're only probably going to be about 30 minutes today. So I'm not going to hold you, but I am going to hold you to this information. So all about connections today, because the real thing here is that nobody builds a six-figure business in complete isolation, right? You may have done it as this single business owner. You may have done it with little support, but the truth is that you won't do it without networking. You won't. It just won't happen that way. So, or if you do, it's going to take you much longer. But there's going to come, I promise, there's going to be some time that comes along, or an instance, a situation, circumstance, whatever you want to call it, where you're going to have to talk to someone about the seriousness of what you're doing and how to get to the next step. Because once you start getting so far along, there's only so much that you know. And if you're somebody who's bent on growth, then you're going to have a much easier time doing this. It's not the fact that you're going to be an extroverted person or an introverted person. No matter your personality type, there's just going to come a time to where you're going to have to connect to move to the next level. So whether that is through educating yourself on what's available, or whether that's to adding yourself to a circle of people that have access to better resources than you do at the time, just know that that time is coming. And the better you are at preparing yourself for that moment, the more successful you're going to be when that opportunity comes. So you probably can already tell that this isn't just like a fluffy type of touchy-feely, let's go network, let's go to some conferences type talk. No, these are partnerships that move the needle first, right? And it's not all about relationships being currency, because I don't want you to feel like everybody that you come across, everybody that you network with or connect to has to plug you into something. People enter our lives for reasons, for seasons, for purposes, for passions. So it's just identifying the ones that your business needs to move forward and figuring out how to take advantage of those situations without negatively taking advantage of people and having and leaving a negative impact on your business and theirs. So, why are partnerships a shortcut to getting to your first six figures? The first thing is because one strong collaboration can replace 20 random sales calls, right? The second reason is because strategic partnerships are going to expand your reach. So you can borrow on the credibility of other people. You can borrow on the faith of other people when you don't believe that you can make it. When you haven't been able to sit in certain rooms and your name be known, but somebody else who is in that room, who is very well known, mentions your name, then it's a lot more easily accepted, and it's accepted a lot faster. You can also borrow the audience of the people that you network and connect to. Specifically, my personal experience, one of the most impactful relationships that I built was with somebody who helped me connect to this larger network that increased my net worth by at least about 25K a year, if not more, because I promise just from that one extension of that relationship, I'd been able to establish contracts in various places where this person had already established their credibility. And because I got to know them, and I got to know them on a deeper level and actually partner with them in some efforts to make what they were doing better, it accentuated my business, and it just created opportunities for not just me, but also this individual that I connected with. So there's so much opportunity, guys, when you're connected to the right people. And that's just a personal testimony of my own. But the third reason why partnerships are your shortcut to 100K is because they multiply your impact and your income, and like I was mentioning, a lot faster than hustling solo. So not only do the right connections give you credibility, but they also give you speed. And you can liken it to doing organic marketing versus paid ads, right? Because when we're marketing organically, it's from the heart. We mean it. It's shining through. It's connecting with the right people. The only deal is that if you're not putting any ad spend behind it, and there's no power behind that, no horsepower to fuel it online, then it's reaching a very limited number of people unless you start connecting with other people who are also sharing your content. But organic is great because it's authentic. It just does not have the speed, nor does it have the breadth of coverage. So if you look at paid ads give you speed as well as that breadth of coverage. So not only are you getting in front of your target audience immediately, but you're getting in front of them in multiple places at one time. So that's how you can look at what expanding your network looks like. It almost looks like doing paid ads when you're networking the right way. 100K doesn't necessarily happen just because you worked hard. It happens because you work smart, and also because partnerships are the smartest way to go, right? That's why 100K actually happens. So in the first 8 sessions of this Road to 100K training, we have been from going through mindset to marketing to profitability and cash flow sequences to smart money, but we have not talked about the people that get involved with that. And I want to give you the top 5 questions that I get from entrepreneurs anytime they're talking to me about why should they network? How do they network? What happens? These are the top 5 questions that I come across, and I'm going to answer those for you today. So if you do not have any of these questions in your mind and you have something else that you're thinking about as far as how networking gets you to 6 figures, then I want you to drop it in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions. Give me any and all of the feedback, because, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to see it. I want to help you. So here's the deal. Answering the big networking questions. The first one is this: how do I authentically connect without coming off as desperate? And I've even had entrepreneurs ask me, like, how can I authentically connect without coming across as someone shallow that's only looking for a relationship to get $1? And here's the answer to that. When you're approaching someone that you think would be a great asset to your business, to your team, in your network, you approach them with what's in it for them and not just you, right? And this is the disclaimer here, or at least the prerequisite here, is that you introduce yourself. You tell them about yourself. We don't just leave this as a boring conversation where we're talking about how's the weather where you live in. We're actually talking about what's your experience been in your industry? How did you come to do the things that you do? What makes you passionate? Why do you love it so much? If you had to give it up today, how would you feel tomorrow? If you never came across this, what do you feel like you would be doing in life? In the South, we say, how's your mama? Like, shorter version. And that lets people know, oh my gosh, they actually care. It's a trigger. Like, they're asking me how my family's been and all of this kind of stuff. Like, how's everybody doing? That's the thing, right? Approach them with what's in it for them. Prerequisite, you got to say hi. You got to introduce yourself. You got to hear more about them. Say a little about you. But as the conversation progresses, what we want to happen is not just saying how I feel like you would be a great asset to me if I work with you, because you could bring this into my business. You could create this for me. You could create that for me. No. So if you have done your homework and you're understanding why you're actually connecting with that person, then you're going to know what that person offers, how it can already accentuate your business. And then you should also study the homework of how can this also help them and benefit them? Because more than likely, 99% of the time, they're a lot more willing to network and work with you if they understand that it's going to be an added bonus to them also. Who wants to get into a dry relationship? Thank you. Nobody. We just don't do that. So be curious first and then pitch later, right? Curiosity. That's what's up. And hi, I see you watching on YouTube. What's up? Thanks for saying hi, Team Us2K. All right. Authenticity equals long game. That's what we're in it for. You don't get into business relationships. You don't get into networking. You don't build a connection for it to be a short-term thing at any time. Not unless you're getting under like contract, right? We're getting under stated terms that we're signing on a dotted line to say we're going to work together for X amount of days, years. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about building relationships that are going to last a very long time, that are going to add thousands of dollars to your bottom line. And it actually comes out as results. Yes, Body Up 360 Fitness. What's up, Dante? I'm glad you're loving it. So authenticity equals long game, right? Appreciate y'all so much. Y'all are the absolute best. All right. Where do I find like-minded entrepreneurs like Biz Coach C? Where do I find people who think like me, who want what I want, who are doing some of the same things that I want to do? Where do I find these people? Here's your answer. You find these people in rooms where people are investing in themselves. That's it. You will not find great people to network in rooms that are not going to benefit them. These people don't play small. They don't play. Think about yourself. Do you play small? Do you waste your time? Would you enter an atmosphere where you felt like it was not going to be conducive to your growth? So just looking at simple things like that, there's a time and a season and a purpose for all things. There are some times that we enter certain rooms where, and now you may find some people in certain rooms where you are. I'm not saying that it won't happen, but naturally finding these people, when you're out for entertainment and things like that, and just a casual, maybe live after 5 event in your local community, then you may bump into some people, have some good conversation. But when you start going to things like the larger conferences, like the meaningful courses that you're taking, classes where you're going to find things that are going to be building you up, So think about things like that. Conferences that you're going to where you're spending money and investing time in your own growth. When you're taking entrepreneurship courses or classes, when you're going to events in your community that are meant to kind of uplift and spread the word about small business entrepreneurship, people are going to events like that to find people of similar mindsets who are ready for growth. And that's where you can find a lot of these individuals. So small business center events, masterminds, paid memberships, people who are investing. That's where you find your people, right? Stop my phone from ringing. Online communities, particularly LinkedIn, because it's such a professional platform. You could find so many collaborations in your industry. As a matter of fact, when I was applying for my 3 of my certifications with the Small Business Administration, I was working with and working on my government contracting abilities, which I've secured everything now. But while I was going through the process, I was paired with an organization called Apex, and I've got linked up to this wonderful representative who now is a dear friend of mine. We've even done podcasts together. Like, we built a relationship on what I knew in small business and what she knew about the government contracting field. And so through that, we formed a relationship, and she's on LinkedIn. The classes that I took for government contracting, those actual instructors and facilitators were going, you need to be on LinkedIn. You need to be sharing your capability statement. You need to be connecting with people there. Here are the people that you need to join with on LinkedIn. Check the box by these names because they're in your region. This is who you need to know. So showing up in those type of rooms where you collaborate with other people in your industry, super, super powerful. And I'll give you this bonus tip. Another thing that I do in my personal community as a business coach, I serve on boards of directors. I serve as a volunteer in other places. I serve on committees, on subcommittees. Now, mind you, I'm watching my capacity, and I'm very, very well managed with work-life balance right now. So as a full-time entrepreneur who is working from home, this affords me the ability to do that. If you are someone who's still invested in your 9 to 5, and you may not even think about you may not even be thinking about leaving a 9 to 5. Maybe you just want supplemental income and to get it off the ground, what have you. So my situation may not be exactly like yours, but I will say that even while I was on my 9 to 5, when I got introduced to joining a board of directors, first of all, I was honored at the opportunity that someone would even nominate me or ask. And then second, I was all over it. I was all over it because I immediately began to understand that if I'm going to level up from where I am, then I have to do things that I haven't done before. And if that's something you haven't done, then you need to think about plugging into leadership opportunities. Leaders are people who invest in themselves. Leaders are people who are okay with forming and joining online communities to find collaborations in their industry. Leaders know other leaders. Level up, because the closest 5 people to you, the closest 5 people to you in your network are the same people that you share your income bracket with. You guys are going to fall into the same category of income. Think about it. Your closest 5 people in your life, you're going to be within that same income bracket as those people. I promise, scientifically, never fails. All right, that's enough slide. That's enough time on that slide. Next question. Should I really treat relationships like currency? So I was listening to this TikTok video where someone said, money is really not the new money, especially in the US. But even if you're talking foreign affairs, like this isn't just domestic, right? Relationships are your currency because they connect you to the resources that you need to move forward. It's all about the right connections. And like I said, this series is catered to minority women, right? To Black and brown women. But anyone in Black culture can probably kind of attest to this also, is sometimes we're so set on one of us making it, or just being an individual, making it out, right? Making it, beating the system, being able to create financial freedom for ourselves, that we forget the sense of community and what that actually creates for all of us as a whole once it happens. So this particular presentation focuses a lot on you as the individual and teaching you what it means to network. And then at the same time, I want you to be reminded that networking builds community. Community is currency. Yes. So here's the thing. We aren't treating individual people like objects, right? We aren't treating people like dollar signs, but we are treating people with the value that they bring, because we understand that they do have value in whatever capacity. Every person has value, and every person is connected to something outside of themselves. So, with that being understood, don't just treat the relationship like the dollar and the currency itself, but think legacy wealth, think community wealth, community building, because relationships, we don't want relationships to depreciate over time. We want our relationships to appreciate over time, which means there's going to be added value, there's going to be added community, there's going to be added resources, there's going to be added income and revenue. And if you're adding those things, you can't lose, right? You honestly cannot lose. What's up? If you're around 5 wealthy people, you will be the 6th. Believe that. Come on, Dante. If you don't speak the truth on that, oh my gosh, I need to put that on screen because y'all need to see what he just said. And you need to be repeating it to yourselves. So just know this, every collab is compounded interest on your brand. We want interest on the brand. Everybody say it with me. Interest on the brand. Right. I hear you. Yep. Say it louder. Interest on my brand. How do I know if a connection is actually worth it? Oh my gosh. Please. Yeah, I'm so serious. Uplift each other. Right. There is no harm in that. I promise you. If you see someone winning, appreciate the fact that they're winning, because everybody should have the opportunity to win. Not everybody wins at the same time, right? That's just the reality of it. But if we're uplifting each other when it's time for us to win, we will get that same energy, hopefully get that same energy back. And 9 times out of 10, you will, if you're giving it, right? How do you know if that connection is actually worth it? How do you know if you're going to get that back? You don't know. What you do know is what you're in control of, which is only yourself. So look for alignment in values and goals. That's it. You have to have your goals and your values aligned before you can look for someone else who aligns with you. So let's get ourselves aligned with our goals. If you've been watching and following Road to 100K series, then I'm teaching you how to align your goals to make your first 6 figures in whatever industry that you're in, right? How else do you know if a connection is actually worth it? Another thing you can realistically look at is, does that connection feel like reciprocity or does it feel like extraction? Because as I can tell you, as a Black female who's getting older, reciprocation is my thing, right? I reciprocate energies, and a lot of times I'm doing it unconsciously. So whatever energy I'm getting, and I've trained myself to do this, that's part of how I manage my work-life balance, is I quickly learn how to discern what type of energy I'm around, what type of activity, and what the outcomes of that particular energy is, and what is going to produce for me and this person that I'm in contact with in the end. Is it going to matter 7 seconds from now? Is it going to matter 7 minutes from now? Is it going to matter 7 hours from now? Is it going to matter 7 days from now? Am I going to be thinking about the same thing? And is it going to worry me 7 months from now? And is it something that could be possibly impacting me for the next 7 years? So rule of 7 is something that a physician taught me. Dr. Green, I love him to pieces. But think about the rule of 7 when you're dealing with relationships and what's happening in that relationship. Does it feel like reciprocity is actually happening, or does it feel like there's too much extraction? Don't just look at that person as taking something from you, but also look at yourself as, am I extracting something from this person without giving back, without replacing it with something that's helping them also? Like, how am I adding to that person's value? What am I doing to expand that? Red flag, one-sided energy. Biggest red flag all day. Everybody, real quick, find something red. Let me see. I got something here. Find something red real quick. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Find something red, hold it up. Red flag. OMG. Red flag are one-sided relationships. Now, that'll preach right there in itself, because there's a whole lot of different types of relationships that can be one-sided. But just know it's a red flag. We don't want red flags. We want this color that's behind me. We want green flag energy, right? That means both sides mutually working. Yes, this is why we have, for real, host entrepreneurs, whether they are a music artist or hair salon owner, or on our live streams where we get to know them and help their businesses. I love that so much, you guys. I love it so much. It's relationship building, right? And a lot of people think that relationship building just stops there, and that you're just in, a quick conversation, you're on one podcast. I guarantee you, any podcast that I've been on, and I've done probably about 24 of them this year, I think, either like 24 or 25. I have a list of them where I actually kept their contact information, because I plan on following back up with them. I plan on sending these people holiday emails, Christmas emails, Thanksgiving emails, still thanking them for the opportunity to come and speak on their platform. I remember them well. And it was because of the relationship that I established when we were getting ready to do the podcast, that we remember each other. Like, they've reached back out to me for revisits and things like that. And I've got people that I need to catch up on, seriously, because it wasn't just one-sided energy. It wasn't just them inviting me to come on a platform to just teach what I know for free. It wasn't about me bringing their audience to increase theirs. It was about them wanting to generally have a genuine conversation about what I do, where I came from, and how it could help their audience, in addition to how it could help mine, right? So that's how you know if a connection is actually worth it. Does it align with your values and goals? Does it feel more reciprocal than like extraction? And is it one-sided, or is it a two-sided relationship? We want two-sided coins, right? We don't want the two-faced coins where it's the same face on each side. Not right. How many networking events should I attend each year? I get this question a lot from entrepreneurs. And I usually get it like at the beginning of the year when they're kind of planning out their activities, their events. I will say that I do have a number that I think is healthy for you. But I want to tell you, consistency is always better than quantity, right? In other words, quality over quantity, but I'd say consistency over quantity. Because when you start thinking about effectively networking, what you're talking about is making sure that you have a reliable presence, a dependable presence, and a recognizable presence in rooms that you're entering, right? So set up a partnership, a networking target. And I want you to think about having at least one new collab per quarter. So if you had to quantify that for the year, think about doing 4 collabs a year, right? 4 collabs a year. And what I want you to do is set a dollar amount to that on what you would desire each one of those collabs to bring in as far as revenue, right? This is what we do. I'm getting excited because now we're putting dollar signs, right? It's not that the relationship itself is the currency. It's not that you meet someone and they're this shiny gold dollar in your eyes. I don't want you to do that. Don't go batting your eyelashes in anybody because you start seeing Benjamins. But what I want you to do is look at the value that's surrounding it and what could it potentially mean for your business. Put a dollar sign on that thing and don't be afraid to do that, right? Don't be afraid to do that at all. I really expected, so the example that I gave you when I started this training, I really expected my relationship with that person I met. I really did expect it to increase my revenue by at least 10K a year. Like I knew, because it wasn't just a hi, nice to meet you, how you doing? It is, I watched that person. I studied them. And when I went to them, it was like, I see what you're doing. I see how you're giving back to the community. I want to be a part of that. I want to be in that. And I don't know how I'm going to be in that. I got some ideas, but maybe you can help me think about how I can help you. What do you need? How can I serve? And how can we both give back together to build community? This was a real conversation, almost verbatim, that I had. And it just transformed that into, do you want to have lunch today? Oh my God, I got this idea. Oh my God, I got awarded this grant. What do I do with this? Oh my God. Like, and I'm calling that person doing the same thing. Like, I want to do this. I want to do this accelerator. I want to help entrepreneurs throughout this year do an entire accelerator for a year. At the end of it, I want to give a micro grant away. Like, I want to be able to give away laptops next year. I want to be able to do this, do that. And so it transformed from there to, of course, now that that relationship had become beneficial, it was, let me introduce you to this person. And then my name is going into rooms where it wasn't before. And their name, I started carrying into rooms with me where it wasn't going before. And so then it was like, this person sending me this contract. I have gotten emails from people that have literally said, this person mentioned you in a meeting and we think that you would be good for this. I just got another offer to help like a county write up like a book to present to their small business owners. Like, that is huge for me, huge for me. Something that I could not have done on my own probably in years with establishing my own credibility. But because I built the network and because I established the relationships, it happened a lot faster than I could have imagined, right? And it happened with the right people at the right time. So set a partnership target for yourself. Include this in those SMART goals that you're always hearing a business coach or somebody like me talk about, right? SMART goals. One of your SMART goals for 2026 is going to be to establish at least one new collab each quarter. Yes. One new collab each quarter. And yeah, I'm glad, this is something that a lot of people don't think about when you're attending like certain sessions and networking events. But I promise you, do your homework. Like it works. This works. I'm living proof that it does, right? This is a revenue driving partnership in a year. We want 4 revenue driving partnerships a year, which can realistically add 20 to 50K to your bottom line. Now, mind you, I'm only giving you one example of someone that I built a relationship with. And where I was expecting it to be a 10K result, it was actually a double that amount, more than, 100% more than what I was getting before. So it's actually double and it's over that. That's one relationship. I've established other relationships that are similar. That's how I was able to expedite and really optimize my journey into getting to 6 figures a year. The relationship aspect was so important to it. And that's really it. Those are the top 5 questions that I get. And I hope that I've answered a lot for you. So here's what I want you to do in summary. I want you to think about turning your connections into real cash flow, because networking is cute and we have a great time when we do it. And there's nothing wrong with, kicking back, meeting some people and doing other things, but it's not just the networking, right? Networking is cute, but partnerships are profitability. And that's ultimately what we're looking for, to stay in business, to grow our business, and to become financially independent. Again, the goal of Road to 100K is for you to be able to live on your own without worrying about overdraft fees, without worrying about having enough cushion, without worrying about a check bouncing, without worrying about how you're going to feed your family, without worrying about having decent clothes, being able to get your hair did, your nails did, have decent shoes. I'm so serious when I say this. Like, financial independence and poverty mindset. Once poverty mindset diminishes, you are able to accomplish so much more, because you're not living in a trapped mindset that's telling you you cannot make it out of the place that you're in. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing to that is actually thinking about what real freedom for you looks like financially, and what removing the barriers of poverty or of lack of resources would look like for you when we're talking about your come up, when we're talking about your growth, when we're talking about your life becoming something that you're happy living, right? I'm so serious about that. 3C framework here. And let me stop preaching to y'all. Connect. Start the conversation, right? All great partnerships just start with conversation, and that's a very real thing. Is this connection is not all about signing contracts and getting to everything after the first meeting. Starting the conversation is just it. It's just starting to say hello, getting to know them, letting them get to know you. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You know what I mean? Either way, it is worth you starting the conversation. You don't know if you don't talk, right? Collaborate. That's the second step. Create win-wins in every one of those situations. Have joint events. Share referrals. Do co-created offers. Post each other in your content. Mention each other. If you're sending out email marketing, then make sure you include them in that email marketing, right? Huge opportunity there for growth and things that you can do. And then the third thing is cashing in on this. That's right. We got to cash in on it eventually. Monetize through shared clients, through bundled services, affiliate deals, joint ventures. So put together an example, right? Put together a collab on a workshop. You got 20 attendees. Sell your toolkits. Revenue growth on both sides. So there's an opportunity for it when you're doing contracts and different things like that. So here's a pro tip. Create a partnership pitch deck. Even if it's just one page showing what you offer, who you serve, how collabs benefit both parties. Right now, my pitch deck for my partnerships, it actually couples like as my bio and resume, and it goes in depth into what I do, why I do it, about me, about my businesses, about what I offer, even a lot of the topics that I teach and cover. I actually use that as my partnership pitch deck so people know what they're getting into when they're getting to know me. All right. Create that. That will help you. Scale the right way. Not every partnership needs to be forever. Don't forget that. Test small and grow. Test small and grow. Systems matter. Track your contacts, set up partnership goals, and evaluate your return on investment to make sure you're getting out of it what you need to get out of it. So measure those partnership results. Measure those leads and make sure those leads are attached to, here's what I got out of this particular partnership or relationship. Measure the revenue. Measure your visibility. Is it increasing? Measure the amount of referrals. And the last thing here is definitely shift your mindset. So your next $10,000 leap may not come from a new customer, and it may not come from a new service or new product that you're offering. It may just come from having the right relationship. So if I had to recap for you today, just remember that partnerships are a fast track for you to get to your first six figures, just simply by multiplying your opportunities, not multiplying the stress. And there's a big difference there. I want you to write down, this is your homework, write down one person in your circle who could become a collab partner. Even if it's not in your circle, think of and write down one person who you could actually get into your circle or get into their circle and begin, just start the conversation. Again, number one, who is one person that you could think about forming a collab with? Reach out to them within the next couple of weeks. I won't say just 1 week. I won't push you too hard today as your business coach, but I want you to think about reaching out to them within the next couple of weeks and start the conversation, because that convo might be the next open door to $10,000 for you. All right. Don't try to go solo with this hustle, and don't try to solo hustle your way to six figures, right? I don't want you to do that at all. Let me switch over my screen. When you try to do that. So we don't want to hustle our way there, not just by ourselves, right? We want to scale smarter. We want to link up, and we want to hit 100K together. So with me doing these presentations, I've told you guys, like, I have no desire to be a six-figure earner by myself. Everyone that's in the Six Secrets group, I want all of you to be. Now, will everybody become that? Probably not, because it is up to you as personal decision, right? But if it is something, if financial independence for you means this amount of money, then go for it, because you can do it. And how do you know how much money you need? However much money you need to keep your business going and live comfortably. You need to add up those two amounts and have savings, be able to put some aside for savings. When you add up those amounts and think about that on an annual basis, how much in a year do you need to make? And I guarantee you, in today's economy, it's going to be at least over $100,000, at least at bare minimum, for you to actually live comfortably and do the things that you want to enjoy in life. So that's what we're trying to get to. That's real financial independence. Hitting it together is everything. Thank you guys for watching. You are absolutely amazing. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm so excited that you were able to join. Remember, you can catch all of the Road to 100K trainings on my YouTube channel. Be sure to go subscribe. And if you have any questions or anything, even in the replay, drop it in the comments. And as your business coach, I will be there to help. You guys have an amazing day.